Hello guys, Mr. Shockwood King, and I'm back here once again. And yes, you saw the title of that video, why Trafalgar D Water Law, the man with the heart fruit will betray the Straw Hats in the end, and by the end of the battle for Nikishima happens. Some might say, why? Long's that traitor. He would never do that to the Straw Hats. No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't at all. And one of my biggest reasons for bringing up this point is number one, there's been some signs over the years, over the time Law's been with the Straw Hats, that he has not liked them, or just like he's been irritated, or just something goes wrong because of them purely. Time and time again, Law put all his heart and effort into try to get the Straw Hats and everybody else a plan. And what does the Straw Hats always do? What do? They blow it. They always blow it. Do the exact same thing every single time, and it gets better in Wano, but it is what it is. But it's just like, I know that's one of the main reasons that every time Law works with the Straw Hats, nothing ever good comes from it at all. At a certain point, there's only so long you can continue to work with a madman before it becomes a problem. But it just put like this: after Law teamed up with Luffy to defeat Doflamingo, even after that whole plan basically failed, and had to make up a plan on the move. Aside from all that, why would Law continue to even be with Luffy? Alright, because like honestly, not even Law planned on actually fighting Doflamingo. His whole plan was to use Kaido to show up to kill Doflamingo, which probably would have never worked, because then they could just restart the factories whether you destroy them or not. Because then Doflamingo would still have Caesar Clown. There'll still be Doflamingo, and then there'll still be Kaido. Doflamingo might get beat on some, but that would be pretty much it. There'd be no reason for Kaido to actually kill Doflamingo. He'd be mad. He may beat on him, but he'd be like, he'd get mad at Jack for failing at Zoe and killing him. And this has been like before the whole recent chapters of Jack going down. It's just there's been like this huge like stigma around Kaido, like he's some type of country savage, or just like I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna smack you around. That's the thing. Beast Pirate Cannon Fodder is not like the All-Star Calamities. Beast Fodder Cannon Fodder is not like the Tobiroko. That's two different things. You can't put them in the same legion because they're just cannon fodder. Honestly, do you think Kaido actually personally even knows most of the men on this crew? Do you honestly think that? Honestly, truly believes that Kaido actually cares about the cannon fodder on this crew? No, it's just no. Same thing with Big Mom. You think Big Mom care about the island she's taking over? She don't care two bits about them. You can't judge Kaido by the way he treats his entire crew after some cannon fodder. Just like Jack. Sheephead ain't nobody. He isn't anybody at all. Who is Sheephead? That's what he is. Dead. But yeah, the way how that plan failed and fell to the floor. And they have to makeshift defeat Doflamingo. Some people might still believe to this day, Luffy could have beat Dofi the entire time. No. I don't know what drug she on, but last time I checked, Doflamingo fought Law twice. And it's just odd how dress rehearsals take place in one singular day. Even then, he fought Law twice. And on top of it, he fought him again. And he's just like, Doflamingo took 10 times the amount of damage that Luffy and Law took both together. So it wouldn't even matter. Even then, Red Heck at the time was showing out to be like one of Luffy's strongest current attacks. Post time skip, took that straight to the chest like it's nothing. Gamma knife, counter shot, ejection shot. He's just eating attacks left and right, and he's still moving without even slowing down. So it is what it is. But that's enough about the Doflamingo talk, because we'll be here all day with that one. But another reason is there's been a huge emphasis post time skip, and even post time skip about pirate crew alliances. Because before the Straw Hats really made an alliance with actual pirate crews, you hear them make alliances with kingdoms and like smaller islands like Water 7 and things like that. Or form an alliance with a revolutionary army in some way, but not really like an actual pirate crew alliance. Cause that whole thing happened at Salvio, there wasn't a alliance, it's just them fighting pirates together. But the whole big statement about even pre-time skip about the whole pirate alliance here, Blackbeard was a part of Whitebeard's crew, but even then, it was. I can't really use Blackbeard as an example, but the whole thing, especially post time skip, especially Marine, even at Marineford, pirates will betray each other and throw each other under the bus. Akiunu pretty much exposed, in my opinion, the whole thing about supposedly Jinbei said pirate's honor. Since when? Akiunu just wished a bunch of sweet nothings into one of Whitebeard's commander's ear, and it's just like right after that, just I gotta go stab Pops right in the chest. So it's just like when Jinbei brought up, oh, ex-Drake, you trying to turn sides? Even pirates have more honor than that. Since when? Blackbeard don't get that type of honor. That Whitebeard captain who stabbed him didn't have that type of honor. Well, what honor are you talking about? Scratchman and Pooh didn't have that type of honor. And the thing, it's been a major thing post time skip that pirate alliances does not work. But the whole thing with Big Mom and Kaido was already a part of the same pirate crew years back. They already have history, which is the whole thing. I'll kill you, you old hag, if you show up here. And what happened? They clashed something, and next thing you know, they was drinking buddies. The way you will treat a former friend is 10 times different than how you would treat an actual stranger that you've just met. Or just somebody you know, like in the newspaper, and that's pretty much it. It is a totally different ordeal and thing. And one of the biggest examples of this is the entire thing I have with Eustace Kid and Scratchman and Pooh. One of the most traitorous, backstabbing, lying, sleazy scumbags. That's the only interesting thing about Scratchman and Pooh is at what point did he actually join Kaido's crew? Because you can have some odd suspicions that, in my opinion, if you look at the landscape and everything, it make a lot of sense to actually send like a minor pirate crew to the East Blues to see what's going on. Because it could be argued that the whole thing with Scratchman and Pooh this entire time, another reason why Drake hated him and everything like that, that he was a spy for Kaido this entire time. Because we don't know how old Scratchman and Pooh is. I'm sure he does come from I think he does come from one of the 4 Blues oceans. I could be wrong in that. But if he does, he doesn't. I'm pretty sure he was a spy the entire time. So I'm even all the way back in the Cyberiotic, because just it will make sense. It'll make sense, but I can't confirm anything. But even with that, it has been a heavy emphasis, layered upon layered, that pirate crew alliances does not survive. Do not stay together. They go through some type of problems. And even with the whole, even you can say partially with that's it, pirate alliances. Nah. There was about the whole Usopp example, that doesn't count because that was like an in crew type of thing. But it's just and one of the biggest problems and one of the biggest reasons happened recently in Wano. I think it was like I think it still was like was it Act 1 or 2? No, it was Act 1. Believe so. Beppo, Penguin, and that other guy whose names I can't remember gets captured by Orochi's men. And who gets thrown on the bus for when the plan fails? Law. Even though Luffy literally betrayed the entire plan and fought Kaido 1-to-1, Law gets thrown on the bus. And then what happens? They gotta go save his own crew members himself with no help. And then he shows up to the end. Oh, you know, Law's gonna hit the Straw Hats. Nah. That's not happening. That's not happening. In my opinion, no. Just if anybody gonna betray anybody, here's the thing: characters like Law was never planned in the intro of the story with One Piece early on. Law was not planned on having this much of an emphasis, unlike Eustace Kid was. Because at least Eustace Kid was a part of the whole plans for One Piece early on. Law wasn't. I'm not saying he's gonna get killed. I'm not one of the people who believes he's gonna get murdered. But it's just one of those things where it's just like, there's gonna be anybody to trade Straw Hats after this grandiose failure is coming up. Because Onigashima is gonna fail. And it's gonna be the first. Understand? It's one thing to lose a pirate crew. It's another thing to have the people of the public and the world turn on you. Because no matter how good you are, people do turn on people. It's just a messed up human nature that people just does that. Oh, you make one bad mistake and they throw you under the bus? Yep. Look at the YouTube landscape. Look at all the backstabbery and the spitting each other's faces. And I used to be your friend. Let's make me a commentary video of throwing you under the bus. And that's just in real life. So you expect in storytelling it won't reflect reality? And no, I don't think, oh, when Law betrays Luffy, then him and Kid gonna be the best of friends, Luffy and Kid. No, it's not gonna happen. But it is gonna be a thing where it's just like, somebody gonna have to take responsibility. If this whole Wano thing fails, which it probably is, and it falls through, and the Scabbards die, and Wano does not change besides becoming besides becoming a besides from becoming a Nikishima 2.0, somebody's gonna have to take responsibility of this. And there's no big news Morgan this time. Luffy's getting thrown in the bus. There's no saving him this time. Y'all can believe that, oh, Luffy's gonna make it out and the people will never betray him. But just like Kaiju and Ippo, just because you're Japanese don't mean they won't throw you in the bus also. It's the same thing. When Luffy fails this time, there will be no public support aside from those he actually met. At all. Somebody said, it's Wano. They've already decided to be a part of the Alliance. Not really, because it's not like Law has really done anything major to any one of Kaido's crew members. So literally at the end of the battle, you could just say, if I was to give you the Straw Hats, Kaido, we just let me and my crew go. Well, it's not like you really did anything. Get out of here. Would it be that hard to negotiate with Kaido? In my opinion, not really. Because apparently Shanks was able to do it just easily. Because to a certain degree you could argue there was no fight between Shanks and Kaido. Because if they were, then how come I think Shanks' ship is called the Red Queen. How come the Red Queen was in perfect condition? We can talk about a full-on dragon, a Brachiosaurus, a spot, and I know the Toblerone would be there. A Brachiosaurus, Pteranodon, and the full-on mammoth shows up, and he's just like, nothing happens. Nothing happens. Look at this. And I'm pretty sure with something along this, like, this is like Whitebeard's moment. It could be Whitebeard's time to die, and it's just like, this is changes the times, Kaido, so it's just like, there's no point of you showing up. Because as much as I like Shanks, I'm not gonna act like he's some type of god tier beast, especially after the whole Ultimate chapter, where they're just like, hey look, Shanks just became a Yonko 6 years ago. Huh? Alright then. So that was literally 4 years before this time story started. So it's literally like 3 years after. Well, depending on how old Luffy was, I don't think, if Luffy was 10, it would have been 3 years later Shanks became a Yonko. From current time, from when we first met Luffy. But I don't know how old he was. He could be like 10 or 7. But it's just, that's sad. Now that is impressive to a certain degree, but because it's like with Whitebeard, Kaido, and Big Mom. When Rocks broke up, there was already like top tier animals and top tier monsters. But it seemed like with everybody else, it just is what it is. But I don't know. I personally do believe that Law will betray the Straw Hats because he have no interest in defeating Kaido. Because no matter what Luffy and Kaido does, it's not going to really stop Kaido. Because so look at the Scabbards you're doing. The Scabbards are doing all this damage. Do you not like none of Kaido's scales are busted? Kaido just looked the same. Another thing, when Luffy fought Kaido, the main thing he brought up was, oh, I gotta break through his scales. The thing is, if Ryo just hits through the skin and causes like a lot of internal damage, why would you need to break Kaido's scales in the first place? Meaning that there's something else about Kaido that they're not telling people. Oh, they're slicing Kaido up, and look at his, they don't reopen the wound. Not really. And plus, is reopening a wound that impressive when it's in the exact same spot of a scar? Which technically you can argue with the scar tissue, depending on how it healed, you can argue it didn't heal correctly, and just a major weak spot like Brawley wasn't second coming. But it is what it is. It is what it is. I personally believe that Kaido, Law's not gonna make it in the end of the series being an ally to Straw Hats. It'll be like a neutral thing by then. But it's one of those things where it's just like he has no interest in defeating Kaido. I'm sorry, if you believe that they can actually defeat Kaido and the Beast Pirates and whenever the rest of the Big Mom Pirates show up, because Queen said in the earlier chapter that they was there. It's confirmed that Queen notified them being there in Nikishima, but chapters later, apparently they're not there. Maybe I'm the only one who saw this, but alright then, maybe I am. But I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But alright then, I gotta be the only one. See, sorry. So let's go over the basic points. There's no real interest for Law being at Wano at all. He has like no cards in this. He has no reason to be there at all. He's just pretty much there to potentially defeat Kaido. And even then, with that whole side mission with Whole Cake Island, that was not supposed to happen at all. Some more internal conflicts on the Straw Hat side. But Law was there making them plan everything. That's even worse. It really is. And it really does seem like Trafalgar Law is fed up with all this garbage. It just, because like, ever since then it's just been, sure, but they was able to achieve like all this success that just, nah. Hanging out with Straw Hat Luffy gets you two things. Your friends die, that's what happened to Whitebeard Pirates, and you barely scheme by the skin of your teeth. Pretty much what usually happens. Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much, and it's just like, I know the one side you don't want to be on, and that's on Luffy's side when he started to lose. That's the side that you don't want to be on at all. That's really bad, because from the Whitebeard Pirates, as soon as Ace died, that just went straight down. That was terrible for them. But then again, what do I know? Nobody's gonna watch this video anyway. But it's just, in my opinion, it does make sense for Trafalgar Law to actually betray the Straw Hats, because he has no intention of being here. He really don't even want to be here, to be honest, to a certain degree. And even now, like, look at all the major moments that Law has had in the actual Nikishima battle. Who has Law fought? Nobody. What have Law done? No, besides from using the submarine to get his scabbards like to like the backside of Kaido's manor and to sneak them in. What is Law doing currently? Nothing. You come up with these grand plans and you don't have a place for yourself. You're not fighting nobody. You're not doing anything. Oh, we just haven't got to that part yet with Law and this and that, and we just have not gotten to that part yet. Is that a possibility? Yeah, it is. It is a very strong possibility that could be the case here, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but it's just like the whole Kiyoshiro thing. Cause I initially thought Kiyoshiro was a traitor. He wasn't, but I still knew that he was Denjiro from the start because of the ponytail. And I told you could just flip that thing back and it'd be the same. No one listened to me. But in this case, I truly believe that Law will betray the Straw Hats because he has no interest with working with the Straw Hats anymore. There's nothing here for him. And Wano is a high potential chance that his crew can get killed, Law can get killed, and that's it. And doing this all for what? All for what? To take down a person that she wasn't even planning on taking down in the first place? To help out the Straw Hats, should have been more than a burden than anything else, and an irritation. The deal should have ended with Doflamingo. Cause even Robin was just like, I don't know, Luffy, these alliances don't end well. Even now, Scratchman and Pooh is just like, are you some type of fool? In the real world, alliances don't work out like that, Jimmy. But hey, the only way to teach Luffy in One Piece something is if you beating it to his skull, which is the whole point of Sabaody and Marineford. Oh, now Luffy finally realized he actually had to train since after all that supposed training he got from Garp. He actually got a battle now. Great. He got to train. And now, Luffy got to realize that sometimes... Oh, yeah, that's another thing could happen. Since the world government, basically, in certain ways, at certain times, can influence, Big News Morgan with some of that bread, some of that cheddar, would it be that hard to get Big News Morgan to print out a few papers about the Straw Hat that, it not only was it a colossal failure, but look at all the damage he done to Wano. All that damage that was unnecessary. But, because the battle is going too well so far. The Scabbards are acting like they're slicing or hurting Kaido. Not really. Not really, because all the attacks they done, because for some light blood, they haven't really done anything. And Kaido haven't really done anything either. Sure, he does like the usual fire breath, but it's just like, we've got the whole flashback of Oden. It seemed like Oden could not touch Kaido until that final cut. Well, the final scar he gave Kaido. If you realize that Odin was all beat up for some apparent reason, and he could not touch Kaido until that final two-sword Odin style. And then he actually hurt Kaido. This quick question, mate. Quick question, lad, before you wrap up the video. You don't find that suspicious of how he was not able to touch Kaido until that one singular panel? How Kaido had no damage before that one singular panel? I'm playing this game horribly. No one finds that suspicious. I find that quite strange, actually. That Kaido he just took no damage. Huh. Well, I don't know. Sorry, I don't know you guys' thoughts or opinions about, do you believe the Fargo Law will appear as Straw Hats or not? I personally believe he will, and it makes more sense that he would, since the whole Oda's kind of really pushing forward, the whole part of the lines just don't work out too well. Because technically, if Luffy fails here initially, it'd be just like Alabasta, just like everything else. Besides, the only extra part about this is, if any of the scabbards to survive, especially Denjiro, let's say I don't believe Denjiro out of the scabbards would die, but I want to see how mad we actually get after 20 years of his life were not only stolen from him, but he also ended up in one tremendous failure. I wonder how would that make a person like Denjiro feel? Because we're already seeing what happened when Odin dies. So if that was what happened when Odin's died, what happens after he realized he just wasted 20 years of his life? But yeah, it's been your boy Shockwave King. I don't know the guys' thoughts here. Do you believe that Law will be betraying the Straw Hats to save his own crew members in his own skin? Or do you believe that the Fargo Law will be in there and always will help out the Straw Hats? Because you know, the Straw Hats are just the best thing. And I don't hate the Straw Hats, I don't, but it's just, I hate how this notion how the Straw Hats are somehow invincible. Even after everything happened to Marineford and Sabaody, somehow Luffy can just stop anybody once again. But it is what it is. It happened pre-time skip, but it is what it is. Big boy Shockwave King, do you believe the usual, or do you believe that this is just some messed up conspiracy theory of a supposed Straw Hat hater, which I'm not? Big boy Shockwave King, and peace.